So I recently got to ride Rapterra at Kingdomion and it was pretty good, but not the line though. Like I'm telling you, I had to wait like a 3-hour wait for that. Like I'm never gonna do that again. But anyways, let's talk about how to get to this ride. So first things first, when you enter the park, you want to head straight down to the Jungle Expedition area of the park. Really good land, by the way. Then you would want to head towards like the back of Jungle Expedition. Then you will see it, an amazing, beautiful B&M wing coaster flying all around you. But don't get your hopes up too much though, because that line will probably be like a 1-hour wait if you're just going on a regular day. Now anyways, let's talk about the queue for Rapterra. So when you first enter the queue building, you may notice that there are some Easter eggs of Kingdomion's history on that specific plot of land. You also have a cool temple and like this volcano looking thing. I think it's Timorn Volcano or something, but I really don't know. So since this ride is a wing coaster, you could only choose two sides, the right or the left, and out of my two rides riding Rapterra, I think I would prefer the left more. Oh, and just something to know, if you do choose the left side, you will go underground when you're entering like the queue for the left side, which is pretty cool to me. Oh, I understand what the station is trying to do. It's trying to be like a scaffolding type of area, but I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but it's okay, I guess. Now let's get to the moment where I think everyone has been waiting for, the layout. Rapterra starts off with a right-hand turn out of the station and lines up for your rolling launch. So before Rapterra opened, this launch has been getting controversial opinions online.
Looking forward to completing the testing process and making sure that Rapterra is ready to launch.
So you know when people are like, ooh, B&M is falling off because like the slightest rattle, like the rattle isn't even that bad and people are just complaining so much. Like, bro, it's not even that bad. And Kingdominion posted a video of Rapterra testing and the trains were a little bouncy, let's just say that. I was kind of worried too, but when I experienced it, it really didn't affect the launch by any means, like at all. I mean, 65 miles an hour, pretty fast, right? You go into this overbank or top hat or like cutback or whatever you want to call it. So for this element to reach its full potential, it's definitely dependent on where you sit. So for me, I would recommend sitting in the back left outside seat if you want the best experience on this element. And let me tell you why. Because the seats on a wing coaster are positioned more out to the side, your body then becomes further from the central axis of the roller coaster. So basically this means sitting on an outside seat on a wing coaster will make the elements feel more exaggerated because you're further away from the central axis or the line that the roller coaster rotates around. Oh, and you're probably wondering why I recommended the back seat. So while the front of the train is dropping from the element, the back of the train just gets pulled through. This brings some amazing airtime and some killer laterals. I was definitely not expecting this element to be my favorite on the ride, but it easily took that spot. So after dropping off from our first element of the ride, you will be sent into one of 3 inversions, the dive loop. So while watching the rendered POV for Rapterra, I was not really expecting much from this element, but boy did it surprise me. This element will provide you with some good floater airtime on the apex and some good positive G's on the valley. So after this, you'll be twisted into an S-hill. Most of the time, I would really like these elements, like the one in Stardust Racers. That's an example of a really good one. But I felt this element on Rapterra felt a little bit lackluster. I think this element was missing some of the aggression that some of the S-hills have. Let's use Stardust Racers as an example. When Stardust Racers goes through this maneuver, you will get laterals and airtime simultaneously. Rapterra basically does the same thing, but on a much tamer scale. This element really disappointed me because I really did think it was going to be the best element on the ride. My guess for this element being so tame is because of the wing seating requires this element to become more drawn out, which is a shame, but too bad I guess. Well, the next element that Rapterra will send you into is the horseshoe turnaround. This turnaround element is really special because it really gets you close up to the ground. This is a good moment for people off-ride trying to get some shots of Rapterra, and this element is pretty good on-ride too. Basically what this element does is turn you 180 degrees to the left. Then once you reach the apex, it kind of sends you down like you're exiting a wave turn. Basically what a wave turn is like a sideways airtime hill. This element will give you some solid airtime, but do not expect anything too crazy though. However, I do think this element should be appreciated for the close-ups of Rapterra's plaza and not the forces. After this, Rapterra will twist you right into the flat spin corkscrew. Not gonna lie, I did find this element to be the weakest inversion on Rapterra. I thought this element would offer more hang time, but it kind of felt like it was just going through the motions. More than anything, I think it feels more graceful. Being graceful is definitely not a bad thing, but I do like inversions to have more of a prominent force, while I do think this one is a bit too tame. After this, Rapterra will send you straight into an airtime hill. Don't expect this element to be like a camelback from Twisted Timbers or something. Just expect this element to be like a toned down version of a B&M Hyper Hill, or just like an element that just gives like light floater airtime. Honestly, I found this element to be okay. I think it did disrupt the pacing of Rapterra, but it turned out to be fine though. After this, you'll head into a weirdly profiled barrel roll. I think this element did have a lot of potential, but it kind of wasted it on not having a near miss. They could have easily used like a tempo for a near miss, but for some reason they chose not to. It's probably because they wasted their budget on the ruined archways on the launch, and they wasted their budget on the tempo already in the queue. However, the element by itself is actually pretty good. This element will give you some nice whip from its weird profiling and some pretty good hang time too. After this, Rapterra will take a forceful turn into the break runs. Okay, before I end this review, I wanted to talk about some things that I did not talk about in the layout. First of all, Rapterra's restraints. They're okay. So Rapterra uses the B&M vest restraints. So if you've ridden any of the new gen B&M loopers, you know these restraints could get pretty tight. Rapterra's vests do get pretty tight, but at least they have some gives to them. However, the lap bar portion of the restraint does come down pretty hard while you're on the ride, so beware of that. But one pro that this restraint does have is it takes away headbanging, which in my opinion, it kind of saves the ride, because if this ride had headbanging, it would be pretty bad. This is because Rapterra kind of does fall into the problem of B&M being kind of rough. Prominent places where I felt this rattle was on the entrance into the horseshoe turnaround and the valley on the dive loop. If you want to avoid this rattle, stay away from any back row outside seats, even though I did recommend it. And I recommend going to a front row inside seat if you're more sensitive to rattles. But also on any wing coaster, an inside seat will always be smoother because you're closer to the central axis. Oh, and I forgot to mention, is this ride better than Volcano? Yeah, I definitely think this ride is better than Volcano. I think Rapterra has more notable elements than Volcano, and like Volcano kind of repeats the same thing, and the thing that it does repeat isn't really good. So yeah, that's a no-brainer for me. Okay, now let's give a score for Rapterra. I will give Rapterra a 7.5 out of 10. Rapterra brings an amazing pacing, decent airtime moments, and some solid inversions. Although I do wish Rapterra had a smoother ride experience and better restraints, I do think it is a great fit for Kingdomion, and I totally recommend coming out to Kingdomion and riding this. Well, I think that wraps up the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and please comment, like I really like seeing comments. And thank you for watching. Bye. Wait, why are you still here? Well, if you are still here, you might want to know why I was gone for so long. I think it's been like 5 months since I last posted, I'm pretty sure. That's a pretty long time, not gonna lie. I think there's multiple reasons. Part of it is because I was kind of busy with school and like track. And another thing, editing kind of takes a lot out of you. But anyways, if you're wondering what my next video will probably be, it's probably going to be of my vlog in Fuji-Q Highland in Japan. Well, since I took a long break from YouTube a little bit, do not expect the video to be out like next week or something. Maybe a little bit longer, but let's see. Well, anyways, this is the real goodbye. Bye!